Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Facebook. This is Alexia Blachos Golokasides, and I'm a transformational coach for moms and a conscious parenting advocate. Welcome to episode 3 of Addicted to Monday. Let me know who's joined. Let me know if when you join, give me a finger. Don't give me a finger, sorry. Give me a heart or a like, this finger, I mean. And I would really like to know how your weekend was. If you managed to do everything you planned to do, if you managed to have some fun, if you managed to have a little bit of a relaxation, or something happened that you didn't plan for, if there was a bit of a letdown, pop it in the comments. Maybe we can talk about that. Maybe we can cover some interesting topics together. So the topic that I have planned for today, I've got 2 screens in front of me, that's why I keep looking on my left, because I'm trying to still figure out how to pick up comments and live interaction with my viewers. So if anybody knows how to do that, please can you help me and I can get that figured out. So I'm going to open up the streaming one on the Facebook on my desktop. I'll just mute that and I'll pick up any comments that come in, hopefully from there. Okay, so I have a very interesting topic for you today. I chose to talk about the buffers that we use in our lives. Just so that you know, these are not planned live videos. You know, I'm really giving you stuff that's on the fly and not scripted at all. I don't have any scripts. I don't actually have notes for today. So bear with me if I'm stalling a bit. So today we're going to talk about buffers and how they sabotage us and how they stop us from growing and living the life that we truly dream of. First of all, what is a buffer? A buffer is something that is, it's a buffer. So if let's take it in terms of when you are building something and it's a sensitive material and you don't want it to get scratched or ruined, you will put a buffer fabric in the middle, maybe a sponge sort of material or something in between, so that it doesn't get destroyed, so that it doesn't scratch or destroy the other material that is more, sensitive. Okay, so that's what we do. That's what a buffer is. A buffer, in terms of emotional intelligence, is something that we do, a thought pattern, a belief, a habit, a behavior that we do to stop us from actually doing the work of fixing a sabotaging pattern that we're experiencing in our lives. So an example of a buffer for somebody who is trying to lose weight or who really wants to change, their body. An example of a buffer there would be of emotional eating, or would be eating when you're not hungry, and that's because when you start out to do something, like for an example, to lose weight, right, a buffer will come in to stop you from actually achieving that goal, because you've been not losing weight for such a long time that the act of actually doing something different to lose weight is coming out of your comfort zone, if that makes sense. Hey Jade. So we use buffers all the time to keep things easy and comfortable. You might find yourself watching too much TV, right? You might find yourself over Facebooking. You might find yourself overeating, over candying, over morning Bobby. There's a lot of types of buffers that anybody can use. You might find yourself thinking certain types of thoughts to buffer yourself from, actually handling a difficult situation. You might be using anger as a buffer. so that you don't actually get down to the root cause of your current experience. You know, anger can easily be used as a buffer, as an excuse to not want to deal with something. You know, oh, I'm angry, I don't want to deal with it right now. It's a buffer, right? I hope this is making sense, because it's very important to understand when you're buffering and when you're actually in growth mode, because buffering is going to put you back into stealth mode, and you're not going to be growing if you're buffering all the time. Okay, so why is it important to stop buffering? It's important to recognize when you're buffering and to stop doing that, so that you can actually do the work that's required on the inside to get done with that limiting belief, to get done with that limitation that's stopping you from actually the goal that you set down. Okay, another buffer might be with your children. For example, if you get frustrated and your kid keeps just doing something all the time and it's just not on anymore, you're getting frustrated, you don't know how to deal with it, so you send him to his room because you really don't know how to deal with it. They can also be a buffer, so you're sort of like just sweeping it under the carpet. If you leave it that way, that can become a pattern for you in your home. Okay, just send him to his room, which is not something you really want to do, because then it's just breeding resentment between your child and you, and you're not actually talking and opening up communication together to get to the root cause of what's happening. That's the whole point of communicating, right? We don't want to disconnect and stop communication. We want to expand and open up and communicate more with each other, not only with our children, but with, you know, people around us. We are so sucked into social media and online, the devices that are around in our lives these days, that we have become scared of communicating with people around us, you know, physical human beings that we meet in the grocery store or in the queue at the bank or something. You know, everything's online, so we're forgetting to actually have the human physical connection and communication with people. So we buffer through our phones, we buffer through our iPads, we buffer through our tablets, through our screens, so that we don't deal with the people that are in front of us. Okay, but why are we buffering? Why? The main emotion, the main cause behind buffering is fear. Okay, it's fear of, it might be fear of losing control, fear of failing at what you're trying to actually do. So somebody who's trying to lose weight would buffer an emotion that's coming up. You know, this is hard, or oh, my husband, he pissed me off or something. I need a piece of cake, or I need a piece of chocolate, you know, right now. That's buffering, because you don't want to deal with the actual emotion that's coming up for you at that time, because there's fear involved. There's fear of what's going to come up. There's fear of actually doing the work. Because sitting with an emotion is sometimes thought to be scary, but the act of not sitting with your emotions and actually accepting them as they are, without having to act on them, without having to judge them, just accepting them as they are, can be actually very liberating if you see it that way. But we are conditioned to be afraid of emotions. We are conditioned to tell our kids, you know, stop crying. Why are you crying? It's not such a bad thing that's happened. You know, why are you making such a big deal about it? We even teach our kids to buffer. Okay? So understanding when you're buffering is a very, very important step. And then taking action to not buffer, taking action towards the thing that you're actually scared of instead of buffering is your next step. Something else that I want to add to this topic, can't remember what it was though. You see, it's the importance of taking notes. It'll come to me. Sorry. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments. I can get back to them after the live, because I'm not seeing comments. I'm only seeing people who's watching and joined. So if you have any comments, or if you want to just send me a yes, so I can see that the comments are coming up. Can somebody just do that for me, so I can get this thing on board? You know, the live comments. So when you're buffering, the more you buffer, the more you strengthen that buffering muscle. Okay, so it's very important to strengthen your action against buffering muscle, because the more you see yourself when you're buffering and taking action against not buffering, the stronger you get. The stronger you get in your position of choice and in your position of power, if I can call it that. So you weaken that muscle. I can show it like a pen for you. So you'll have a thought, you'll have a pattern, right? A very, very strong pattern that you're doing. Maybe it's eating every night, eating crisps or whatever every night, and you don't want to be doing that, but you're doing it, right? And it's such a strong hold that it's got on you, and you don't want to do it, and it just keeps happening. So the more you do it, the stronger your grip on this thing will be. Okay, the stronger your belief system, the stronger your body is gonna be attached to this buffering. Okay, but when you start to say no, when you start to be aware, awareness is the first step. All right, actually, when you start to become aware of what is actually happening and the thought that comes before the decision to buffer. So if you are trying to lose weight and you know you are eating emotionally, and you know that you shouldn't be, because that's sabotaging your weight loss goals, right? So when the next time you notice yourself doing that, be aware that it's happening, and be aware of the thought that is happening in your mind before you actually decide to do the buffering, before you actually decide to do the emotional eating. Okay, so, and be aware of the whole emotional pattern that's happening before that is pushing you to do that buffering, the emotional eating. And this you can do with everything. Okay, the awareness is the first step to actually creating change in anything that you want to create. Okay, so the more times you say no to the buffering, the looser the grip of that buffer will be in your life. So it'll get looser and looser and looser until finally you'll say that this thing has no hold on me anymore. Okay, so it needs practice, it needs repetition, and it needs an awareness and an acceptance inside of yourself that you are buffering. Surrender to that, realize that you're doing it. If you're doing it, I'm buffering in this and this and this way, and I want to stop. So you could actually take a piece of paper, depending on where you're buffering in your life. It might be in your relationship, it might be with your weight loss goals, it might be at your work. Depending on where you're buffering, take a piece of paper and write down the ways that you're buffering in that area of your life. How are you buffering? How are you avoiding the emotional stuff that's going on the inside? Because the emotional stuff that's going on the inside is your key to what needs to change in your life. Okay. Thanks, Bobby. I can see the comments now on my phone. For some reason, they're coming up on my desktop as well. Thank you so much. I'm glad it's making sense for you. So if you write on a piece of paper the areas in your life where you see yourself buffering and the ways that you're buffering, that is the first step in awareness, okay? And that will help you to see, to take an action plan to stop the buffering. So you could say, I don't know, if you are buffering, give me an example and I can support you right now. I can coach you right now on that. You could say like, let's take the child for example, that you're just sending him to his room all the time. So we're buffering there because we don't want to deal with the emotional situation at hand. We don't want to deal with our own anger, with our own frustration. We don't want to deal with our own feelings of, what have I done wrong as a parent, right? Have you ever gotten that feeling? What am I doing wrong? And why is my child acting like this? So that's some ways that we will see ourselves buffering, and just send the child to the room and, do something else so that we don't actually deal with the situation at hand. And you could, when that awareness comes in, you can actually say, okay, this is not the right way to do it. You can allow your child to give him the time to calm down, give yourself the time to calm down, get back into your center, get back in alignment with your, your heart, your love, your trust that everything is fine, that you aren't doing such a bad job as a parent, okay? And then you can open up communication with your child and see what exactly is happening, right? And in yourself, you get to open up your own communication within yourself and see why you are triggered so much by what has happened, and why did you want to buffer. You know, what is behind your buffering? Why are you scared? What is so scary about, you know, addressing this emotion inside of you? Just sit with that emotion. Sit with it. Allow it to be felt in all your body. Allow it to come in surges inside your body, right? The worst thing that can happen is an emotion. That's all that it is. It's an emotion. Okay? We need to learn to stop fearing our emotions, because they are energy, right? They're pockets of energy that need to come out. So the more we block them, the more we suppress them, the more they just get rooted deeper inside of us, and then they create other havoc inside of us, okay? And it just becomes a building of built up, pent up energies that can just explode at any moment, and, or even worse, create, you know, some sort of energetic imbalance inside of your body, which is dis-ease and pain and whatnot. That's another topic, okay? So emotions are energy pockets, okay? And the way that emotions come to us is because we have a certain way of thinking about a certain situation. Our brain has a thought, and the brain then instructs a chemical reaction to take place based on the thought that we have. But, you know, I just want to make a differentiation here, because two people can have the same thought but can have a different emotional reaction to it. Okay, so let's take, for example, it's Christmas in a few days. That's a statement. It's a thought, right? This is a good example. For some people, for whatever reason, Christmas could be a very, very difficult time for them, for whatever reason, okay? For other people, Christmas is an amazing, amazing time of celebration and family and joy. Can you see the difference? Okay? So, depending on the quality of your thought, okay, your brain will instruct a chemical reaction to take place in your body. So for some people that'll be pain, hurt, sadness. For other people that'll be joy, rejoicing, fun, family, in regards to Christmas. Okay, so when those emotions are not processed, I'm talking about now the limiting ones, okay? When those emotions are not allowed to come out, are not allowed to be processed, are not allowed to be expressed, you know, into the universe, out of your body, they will get suppressed, okay? And let's take the Christmas example again of a way somebody could buffer. Somebody who's having a limiting experience about Christmas, limiting thoughts about Christmas and the relative emotions that go with that, could easily buffer those emotions. And how? They could easily buffer those emotions by over drinking, right? By overeating, by over medicating just to get by, you know, by locking themselves in, by shutting themselves away from the world, things like that. That's also buffering, okay? And it's a way for people to think, to let themselves believe that they are handling it, they are managing it in this way. Okay, there is another way, there's a different way that you can manage your buffering, okay? So that's about it for today. I hope this episode has helped you, and I hope it hasn't put you in a bit of a down mood. No, it's good to know your buffers. It's good to know how you're buffering in your life. Let me think if I'm buffering on anything. Let me just give myself a scan. I can't think of anything right now. I used to buffer. I will tell you when. I used to buffer when I was, I'm 40 now, so it's a good 20 years ago. And I used to buffer with food. So I was going through an emotional time. And I would really eat stuff that was not good for me, but like really overeat. Okay, that's a good topic for another episode. And if anybody's going through something like that, I can definitely help you and support you with that. Okay, so we all have our buffers, and it's good to recognize them. Even in your business, you might have buffers, you know, ways that you are limiting yourself, ways that you're just staying comfortable so that you're not dealing with certain things in the work environment. You buffer. Even overworking can be a buffer, okay? Overworking, easily a buffer. Okay. If anybody would like to have more support with something like this, excuse me, just send me a personal message or an email. We can arrange a call. And at the same time, I do have an email list that I'm sending out every Wednesday to my subscribers. If you'd like to join that, just head on over to my website. And there should be a pop-up window that comes up for you to join the subscribers list. And there should be a free gift in there. I'm not sure. I was going to change some things on the website. I don't know yet if my internet provider, my tech guy has done that yet. But if you don't do that, you can just send me your name and your email, and I can add you manually. We can add you manually into the subscribers list. Okay. Hope this has helped you guys, and I hope you have a fabulous Monday. It's a bit rainy today in Bafos and in Cyprus in general, but winter is finally here. We've got our blankets out, and it's pretty cozy. Have a beautiful week as we get closer to Christmas. Thanks for watching. Please share this video if you found it valuable in any way, and send your friends to my page. The more people we get on board with this type of thoughts and this work, the better our world will become. Okay, in general. Love you lots, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.